Hello! We have two stories today of juicy drama from AITA and True Off My Chest. Our first story features a husband-to-be who ignores all warnings and decides to tempt fate and his blushing bride's patience on their wedding night for all to see. As always, your support helps fight the Reddit bot menace. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We start with Story 1. Am I the jerk for leaving my own wedding because my husband embarrassed me? I, 27-year-old female, and my husband, 29-year-old male, have been together for 3 years. In those 3 years, I have never known him to be selfish. Occasionally immature, yes, but even that was rare. These problems arose when those stupid cake smashing videos got popular and my husband thought they were hilarious. I've never thought they were funny, and he knows that. Yet he was always showing me the videos of those poor wives getting the happiest day of their life ruined by their jerk-hole partner for some cheap laughs. He also knows I have a history with cake smashing. My family does the cake smashing thing. I remember it was my 17th birthday and I pleaded with my mom to not do it. She promised and I trusted her. I had my hair and makeup done up all nice, and right as I blew out my candles, my mom pushed my head into the cake and one of the decorations on the cake ended up slicing my forehead. Not enough to go to the hospital, but enough for some substantial bleeding. My birthday was ruined, and after, I wouldn't come out of my room. My mom still calls me a brat for that. I told him if he ever did something like that to me, I'd leave him. He started laughing, but I was being for real, though he really was not taking me seriously. Now, skip to a few days ago when my wedding happened. Everything was perfect. I was happy. He was happy. I was excited for our new lives as newlyweds. I felt like a princess in my poofy white dress and done-up hair with perfect makeup. All very expensive things, I would like to mention. We get to the cake cutting part, and as I turn to him, he scoops up a huge chunk of our wedding cake and smashes it all over my face. Everything just seemed to go in slow motion for a few moments. He's just laughing at me and then says, "You should see your face," and continues to laugh. Other people in the crowd, mostly my family, are also laughing at me. Then I just start walking away. He realizes that I'm leaving and tries to catch up with me and says I'm being extra. I push him away and order an Uber. As I got outside, most of the crowd is following me, telling me to come back. I get into the Uber and drive away. I drove to our apartment and packed most of my things and went to stay at a hotel. I currently, though, am staying at a friend's house. My family and his family have been blowing up my phone for days, saying I'm being childish and my husband is a good man, and it was just a joke. My husband has been calling me off the hook, telling me to please come home and that he wants to talk, that he's sorry and didn't think I'd get that emotional. This was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives, and he embarrassed me in front of everyone for some prank that he knew I hated. Not only that, he ruined a $500 cake. He ruined my makeup, my hair, and the top of my dress. The cake got all over. Though I still do love him, and I'm wondering if I really was too hard on him. That seems to be everyone else's opinion. So am I the jerk? Relevant comments from OP. He apparently didn't plan this, and it happened fairly quick, so the only person who was recording that I know of was the person I paid to do it. I already messaged him to not give those recordings to anyone. I don't need that tape of attention, God forbid it got out. Plus, everyone was too busy laughing. I guess maybe he thought he could change my mind? That is the only reasoning I can think of because that's the same thing that went through my mind. I don't even know if I will get back together with him. He is acting as if smashing cake in my face was funny and that I was just being emotional. Update 1, the next day. I decided to speak to him bright and early this morning. I'm leaving him. Some of you might be happy about that, and some of you might not be. I decided to call him and get his reasoning for why he did what he did. He told me he just thought it was a funny prank and that if it was at the wedding, on a happy day, that he could change my mind. Plus, since it was a tradition in my family that I wasn't following, he thought that he could get points with my family. Then told me he's sorry that I took it as a disrespect. I told him he shouldn't be saying that he's sorry that I took it that way. He should be apologizing for hurting me. Where is the "I'm sorry"? I told him he hasn't apologized with accountability once. All his apologies have been backhanded. I also reminded him that I didn't have a good relationship with most of my family, nor my mother, who he forced me to invite. I told him he knew I was already the black sheep of my family, and the verbal abuse and public humiliation I received by my mother for years really messed with me, and he knew that. Then he says this: "Why should I have to apologize because you can't take a joke?" I blew up. I told him, "Are you serious? If it was me who hurt you to this degree, the first thing I do is apologize. While you can't even force yourself to be decent for a few secs and just apologize to me." I also told him that he was trying to get in good with a family who abused me by publicly humiliating me, and that is something that is unforgivable. Marriage means you stick by me, yet you showed you obviously do not. It's not about you ruining my dress, or my hair, or even the cake. It's about how you knew how I felt about this and the trauma I had connected, and you didn't care. He then tried doubling down and saying it wasn't his fault for not apologizing because my family was telling him how dramatic I was and how I was hurting them by leaving the wedding for a joke. He said he loves me and he doesn't want to break up over this nonsense and that I should just come home. I told him I wasn't coming home and it wasn't even about the cake anymore. It's because I cannot be with a man who won't apologize when he's wrong and who gaslights their significant other into receiving the blame. He started cursing me out at this point, but after about a minute of hearing him scream at me, I hung up. I guess he started telling my family because within a half an hour, my phone was blowing up again. The worst ones had to be from my mother and his sister. My mother was telling me I am going to end up alone because I can't take jokes and I'll never be able to keep a man with my attitude. Even saying that my clock is running out fast and when it did, no one will want me and I'll be alone. His sister was telling me that I'm a disgusting B-word for hurting his brother and wasting his time. That she wishes that he would have broken up with me 2 years ago when he first wanted to. So now I know he wanted to break up with me. What I also know is that he was cheating on me for 6 months with his ex who wanted him back, but then she dropped him because he stayed with me. The thing is, I had a good relationship with his sister and she knew he was cheating on me. I guess she put everything out on the table since I was leaving anyway. I blocked most of my family and I blocked all of his family. I also blocked him and I'm getting the annulment. My friend said I could stay with her for a few months till I get back on my feet. I told her I really appreciate it. So yeah, that's the end. I'm crying while typing this. I wasted 3 years on a man who never really cared about me. I've lost what little relationship I had with my family, and now I only have the few friends I have been blessed with. I'm going to have to pick up the rest of my stuff. I also told him before I blocked him if he broke anything of mine, I would bring it to court. Thank you for all the kind words and encouragement. I'm going to go to sleep now since I haven't done so in 24 hours. Update Post 2, August 29, 2023, next day. I just wanted to update you all about a few things. I haven't gotten my stuff from my ex yet. I just haven't had the energy to because I'm still extremely upset, obviously. From the videos online to the comments I received on my original post to also the comments I looked at on repost of my post, it kind of made me think that there probably was a lot of red flags and I was just used to being abused, so the bare minimum was enough for me. After speaking about it with my friend, she said that he definitely had a lot of red flags and she even told me I should stay far away from dating, at least until I get some help, because I was obviously not seeing the red flags right in front of me. I'm not going to go into it, but sometimes I'd have to cook second dinners for my ex because he didn't like everything I made. His mom apparently didn't get him used to vegetables, so he won't eat them. Or making fun of my cramps on my period. That's some of what I was referring to when I said immature. Someone texted me saying if I was sure that he cheated on me. No, I am not sure at the moment. It just felt like it made sense because of how horrible he was being. Though they made a good point, the sister very much well could have just been trying to kick me when I was down, since I was leaving anyway. I have no evidence, and I probably will never have evidence. I unblocked him just to tell him I was going to come over in a few days to get my stuff, and if he could just not be there and that I'd leave my keys. He said fine, and that was it. So he will not be there when I get the rest of my belongings. I will also bring a friend with me in case he does do something. I'm still not speaking to my family, and I think I'm just going to go no contact, like people suggested. I saw a video from a woman speaking about me, and someone in the comments said I was groomed into this treatment, which is why he felt it was okay to do this. Maybe she's right. When I get my financials in order, I think I'll try therapy and wait a few years before attempting to date anyone. I also kept getting this question, How did the Uber come so quick? The wedding venue was in a city in a building. Uber takes 30 seconds to order and 3 minutes to get there. Plus, who is really going to stop me from getting into the car? My husband gave up, to be honest, pretty fast once he saw me trying to get into the car. I thought it was weird, but I realize now, playing victim because he didn't get his way. Some of you may be saying, how did you not realize you were being used? I don't know. Sometimes it just happens that way. My brain is kind of dead at this point. To people who say this is fake, I don't care. I went on this app because I figured I'd get like a few comments and maybe some insight. I got this insight, way more than I thought I'd get in a million years, and now I'm going to move forward with my life. So, this is the last update. In the comments, Mischief Manager said, "The stuff from her mom is so illuminating. No wonder she didn't see the red flags on this guy. She's been living with red flags her whole life." Istara said, "The cake was inadvertently a gift since it got her away from this abusive monster." Guidalot replied, "Right? I feel like every relationship should have a 'don't press this shiny red button if you're not a jerk' moment before marriage." Which, from how the OP described things, this kinda seemed like. Toots NYC said, "The hostility behind the cake smash?" Watercress OK replied, "He didn't even take a slice and do it, just grabbed a handful like a 5-year-old. Smacksaw added, "All he had to do was apologize." Not the jerk for leaving her husband. It is really unfortunate that the truth literally smacked her in the face, at her wedding no less, in front of a crowd. That's gotta sting. Our second story trades a failed wedding for a failed marriage. But the real fun comes in the comments after one wife, used to playing victim, gets a reality check. In story 2. "I divorced my husband because of his addiction, and now, 2 years on, I feel like I made a mistake. During the pandemic, my husband became addicted to weed. We both smoked every now and then before, like once a month maybe or thereabouts. When the lockdowns hit, that escalated for him though, as he started smoking daily and then never really scaled it back once things calmed down. Eventually, it was pretty much all he did. He tried quitting a few times and I encouraged him, but he always fell back. It started eating away at our relationship as he never wanted to do anything with me. He would occasionally join me when we visited friends, but would always find an excuse to leave early so he could go home and smoke. Most of his friends are smokers too, so when he hung out with them, they would smoke constantly. I'm not proud of it, but during this rough period, I met someone else. We started chatting at a bar, and he just made me feel seen and gave me what my husband wouldn't. It eventually developed into real feelings, and that, plus the desperation of helplessly seeing my husband in his zombie state, made me want to get a divorce. I still loved my husband, but I couldn't live with him. He was obviously devastated when I told him and quit smoking cold turkey that same day. He threw out all his pipes and all the weed he still had, but I didn't think he would stick to it. I'd seen it all before. Before long, the divorce went through and I got my own apartment. I didn't stay there for long though before I moved in with my new partner. Since my ex and me share a lot of friends and still live near each other, we've kept in touch. And to my amazement, he has stayed clean from weed. I feel like I'm watching him blossom again, and I can't help but feel like I made a mistake in leaving him. He's pursuing his hobbies again, he's traveling and visiting friends, just going back to the same fun, adventurous person he was before his addiction. I love my new partner, but I constantly feel guilty because I still have feelings for my ex-husband too. I was with my ex for over 10 years, and there's no one in the world who knows me better than him. And when he's functioning, he's the kindest, most loving man I've ever met. Recently, I was at a party where my ex-husband was as well. He and my new partner are cordial, but don't really like to interact, which I understand. At one point during the evening, I ended up alone with my ex on a balcony, where he told me he misses me every day. I almost broke down in tears right there, and I wanted so bad to tell him I miss him too, but I held it back. I don't want to make another mistake by leaving my new partner for something that I might be looking at with rose-tinted glasses. I just feel so lost and don't know what to do. I hate hurting people, but now I feel like I've put myself in a position where no matter what I do, I will hurt someone. I regret leaving my ex, but I'm also happy I've met my new partner. I really do feel happy with him, even though I've put my ex on a retroactive pedestal. It feels so complicated and like it's eating me up inside every day. In the comments, No Echo said, "As soon as I read about the bar, I was done with her. Laugh my butt off." B. Palaskis replied, "Yeah, I don't know if it's how they described the timeline or what, but the divorce then moving in with number 2 seemed ludicrous speed fast." Fungi Are Cool said, Sounds like you just needed an excuse to cheat to me. I hate hurting people. You're gonna hurt someone regardless. Leave your ex-husband alone. He's better off without you. Your bad altitude replied, Dude, that line had me rolling. I hate hurting people. Cheats, moves in with new guy after a few months. Realizes she made a mistake and now has two people, not one, potentially heading for a world of hurt. The audacity of some people to play the victim never ceases to amaze me. Odd Welcome said, This was pretty great to read. You seriously cheated on him and left him and are blaming him for it not working out. So now you are not happy? This is hilarious. Hope my sarcasm came across in that read. I'm sorry, but what a basket case. Seems to me she's burning the grass on her side of the fence constantly. So it makes sense that everything on the other side seems greener. She made two beds, picked one, and now she has to lay in it. And that's it for today. Until next time, shine bright, Starlight. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.